So let's fast forward to now. What do you do now?
I'm a part of an organisation called Voice Against Crime. To big up Rico, because he's the founder from there. We just had a meeting today as well. It's actually our 2nd year anniversary today since the CIC was formed.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Like if someone loses a child, like say if there's a stabbing and someone dies, Voice Against Crime will, reach out to the family and go and pay their respects. They may bring something for their family. You know what I mean? If it's maybe a small amount of money, or if they need anything, even if it's just a card, some flowers, you know what I mean? Just to show that we're there.
Compassionate grants.
Yeah. It's sad though, like that is like, you see a lot of upset and sadness in that, you know what I mean? But I do it because I want to be a part of the solution. And if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. That's how I look at it.
So welcome back to the Windmill Boxing Club HQ. He's big on the music scene and he's got his own studio. So we're just going to go straight into it and ask him to introduce himself.
Okay, so my name's KMD. I've got a studio called Brumtown Hit Factory. I've been running that studio for about almost 7 years now. It's based in the Drury Quarter. Before that, I was doing a lot of freelance stuff, like say about 2 years before that. And then before that now, so let's say from around 2006, I was based in a youth organisation in Las Vegas called Young Disciples. So I used to work with a lot of the gang-affiliated, gang members, socially excluded, young people that was involved or was at risk of being involved in crime and stuff like that. So I was based there, but then I used to do sessions separate to the youth work sessions from that studio as well. That was, so 2006. And then 2011, they closed down because there was a lot of government cuts with funding for youth centres and stuff. And then I was just working from different studios for a bit, and then said, I need my own space. So then from 2013 till now, still going, I've got my own studio. I've worked with a lot of artists in the city, do videos as well. Recently set up a company called Savannah Pictures, named after my daughter, Savannah.
Going back to the youth work, what kind of obstacles or issues that you were apparent in the local area that you were trying to tackle, and how did you tackle them?
Okay, so basically, the organisation was based in Las Vegas. So there was a lot of conflict. Like now there's a lot of conflict on the streets. Then there was a lot as well. Used to be things like we'd have young people in the area, they'd be running into the building, say someone shot at them. A lot of crazy things used to happen. People just shooting to outside the building. But then we used to always work in like Handsworth. So obviously Las Vegas as the new town, Handsworth, Hockley, that's another area. So, they've got issues. So then we'd have to go over to that side and then work with those young people. But the thing about it, a lot of the guys that used to be based in the Las Vegas area, they used to know that, because obviously I'm a free person, if you get what I mean. Like I go anywhere and I work with whoever. I'm not into the gang business. I'm not into the postcode rivalry. Like to me, it doesn't make no sense because we don't own these streets and these places. So I've always been neutral. But the good thing about it is that even though both sides knew that, okay, I work with those people and I work with those people, it was a thing where it can get difficult for certain people, you work with them, why are you trying to come around here and stuff like that. But because I've always kept myself as a neutral person, and I don't believe in us fighting against each other for these things. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make no sense. Like I fight for people in general, like just for for freedom of people. But I've always been okay with, I've been cool around everybody. The lack of the funding and stuff. So that was an issue then. But then, it's just being able to engage with the young people.
The funding's still an issue, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
Because what we find, we see all these reports about, especially BAME, young people and general public don't have opportunities. And then you find majority of us live in areas where there's no funds, no facilities.
Yeah. And we're trying to do the most. I'd say the ones with the least funding are the ones that are trying to do the most.
They hustle harder.
Yep. And then the ones that have got funding, like I know some people, and I'm not going to make it all political, but they're getting a lot of money from the government.
And doing very little.
They're living very good lifestyles, have nice houses, drive nice cars, stuff like that. And this is all because they're supposed to help people, but they're helping themselves a lot more than they're helping people. But yeah, I'm not going to go into that.
So your studio now, what kind of work do you do on a day-to-day basis?
So basically, I think I skipped a question, sorry. Because you said, what kind of stuff was I doing with the young people?
Activities with the young people.
Yeah. Okay. So me personally, I was head of music. So I had like, at Young Disciples, we had like a main studio. We had like a big boy mixing desk in there, monitor, proper speakers, drum kit, we had loads of like instruments, stuff like that. It had everything that you would need if you wanted to do music. So I used to teach music production lessons, used to teach them how to like do songwriting, how to record, mix, master their songs. Then there was another guy that used to do video stuff, Elijah. He used to run the video media department. We had like another room. It had like 10 iMacs in there. And I'm trying to replicate this now. So I'm trying to set up some kind of media suite in the same kind of way that we did it then. We had 10 iMacs in the room. And it's like everyone had their own like workstation. So you have your chair, a desk, have a keyboard on there and everything. And you could literally plug your headphones in and just get on with your work. And, you know, I'd stand at the top of the class and I'd go through certain things and then they would get on with it and make their own music. And then when they have like something that sounds kind of good, decent, we'd go into the main studio, record it in there, mix it, master it and that. And then they'll get videos done. There was a sports department as well. So then that was like, I think a guy called Ruben used to do that. Jason, they used to do the football with the young people. Then there used to be like activities and stuff. Another woman called Shireen used to work there. Big up Mark, big up Carver, Robin. They're doing something different now. They've got another organization, Robin and Carver, called Bringing Hope. Yeah, so a lot of activities like taking them out of the city, taking them go-karting, paintballing, residentials, stuff like that to do team building. A lot of the young people are noticing, like, especially like inner cities, they've never been out of the city. Do you know what I mean? Like I was chatting in the studio with some of them, some guys from Newtown. This is like over like 10 years ago. And they'd be like, oh, I've never been to London. I've never been out of Birmingham. So I'm saying, so where have you been? Like they've literally been from Newtown. They've gone into town and gone back to Newtown. Like I'm saying, nah, like have you never been to Handsworth or anywhere like that? Like, nah, we can't go there. Okay, cool. Have you ever been, I don't know, to Harbour or Sutton Coldfield? Or like these guys were literally living in a bubble. You know what I mean? And I thought, this is crazy. Like, so we organized like trips and we took them to Oxford. And there was another, there was a woman from Birmingham called Marsh. I don't know what her last name is. She used to have a youth centre in Oxford doing the same thing. Yeah. So what we would do, we'd all go down there and then we did like, they had this massive gym. So we'd do like a sleepover. Everyone get sleeping bags and stuff like that out. And then we'd go down there, like make music with them because they had a studio as well, do activities. And then they would come up to Brum and do the same kind of thing. So yeah, it's just crazy. Like they've never been out of the city. They've never been, 10 miles down the road. You know what I mean? So,
and when you went to Oxford and you said that they had a music studio and you were doing music there.
Yeah.
Were the Birmingham kids better than the Oxford kids at music?
Birmingham is the place.
Obviously.
Not to get, what it is, there is some good artists there. If you're looking at, if I say on a general scale, like if it's like, okay, 50 Birmingham artists, 50 Oxford artists, Birmingham's going to win. If it's like, is there any good artists down there? Yes, there is. There's always like 1 and 2s and 3s and 4s. But I just believe Birmingham is the heart of the UK for music anyways. London's got a lot of artists, but London's also got a lot of mediocre. London's got the industry, so that's the difference between Birmingham and London. We've got the talent, we just got no industry.
And out of them young people, because it was a little while ago, has anyone gone on to?
Yeah, there's a few, to be fair, like some of the people that used to work on there, there's a guy called like C4. So not everyone was like heavily involved in the gang world. They used to live in the area. Their friends were gangsters and stuff like that just because oh, that's my friend who lives next door to me, but he rolls with the gangsters in the area. But they're not necessarily, not all of them was like, you know, on that. So there was just some guys that was just working hard on their music. So we'd have like a young guy called C4. He ended up working with Boy Better Know, Skepta and them lot. And then his bigger brother, Predator. He gone on to be a big boy producer now. Do you know what I mean? So he's worked with Georgia Smith, Skepta, all of them, like Craig David, and do you know what I mean? These that was on my music program. Do you know what I mean?
The living example of success.
Yeah, definitely. So they used to bring the tracks in. Like everyone that's done something great obviously came with talent. You can't teach talent. You can just mold it and shape it. So Predator would come in and be like, yo, I've made this track with my brother at home. C4's his brother. So they used to make tracks together to come in and they'd be like, yo, this is sick. It's like, can you help me mix it and stuff like that? So I would add my touch to it or say, okay, cool, do this. Or I'd record a lot of their songs for them, things like that. But they've got their own talent inside them. And I've just helped them to pull that out and take it to the next level. And then they've gone on to do great things. Do you know what I mean? Lady Leash used to come there as well. Sometimes I used to do a lot of work with her. You know, she's doing massive things.
There's a saying from the boxing world that the coaches polish the diamonds and then the diamonds are recognized. Sounds like a similar thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's fast forward to now. What do you do now?
Okay, so now, so let's separate from the music studio, which is basically recording, producing, engineering, writing, DJing and all of that stuff for different artists in the city and in the UK. I also do the video production company, but then I also work with an organization. I'm a part of an organization called Voice Against Crime. To big up Rico, because he's the founder from there. We just had a meeting today as well. It's actually our second year anniversary today since the CIC was formed.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So we just had a little gathering, took some pictures, had some cake and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? But so we work on, there's different elements in it. So like if someone loses a child, like say if there's a stabbing and someone dies, Voice Against Crime will, reach out to the family and go and pay their respects. They may bring something for their family. Do you know what I mean? If it's maybe a small amount of money or if they need anything, even if it's just a card, some flowers, you know what I mean? Just to show that we're there.
Compassionate grant.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely all of that. And, funerals, someone will be there representing at the funeral. It's sad though, like that is like, you see a lot of upset and sadness in that, you know what I mean? But I do it because I want to be a part of the solution. And if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. That's how I look at it. So my stake in that is more of the media side. So because I work with a lot of the youngsters, I'm kind of like the bridge between the founders and the older guys in the group and the streets, you could say, to try and engage them. You know what I mean? With the music and the media and stuff like that they love in it. Like it's all about the gas in it. Like everyone's on gas nowadays, so you just need to give them some kind of gas, but a different version of it. Do you know what I mean?
You're the plug.
Yeah, basically in that sense. Yeah, so I'm on the plug in that sense. So yeah, we do a lot of outreach work, and we've done a documentary called Knives Take Lives. There's a music video that we did last year that was on Link Up TV. It came out on Christmas Eve. We're going to promote that again. And there's a documentary that we've done. It's in the final stages of editing. So before the end of the year, that should be out as well. No, that will be out. It's kind of deep still. But yeah, so there's me, the musician, music man, and the media guy, director, and then me, the youth worker, community guy as well.
Obviously, you mentioned a few projects there. Is there any particular musicians that we should be looking out for, or singers on the rise in Birmingham?
Okay, so let me take away everyone that's kind of already got their name out there. There's a young guy that I work with. I've actually employed him. His name's D Green. He's from London, but he moved to Birmingham. Without going into too much detail, he had altercations in his area when he was younger. He was like 14, 15. And he almost died, basically. He ended up moving to Birmingham, meeting up with me. His mum used to bring him to the studio. Obviously, she wanted to make sure he was in a safe place and stuff like that. And then he used to come there and record his songs. But what I noticed, he was really good, because most artists will come and maybe do like record a song in the quickest, I would say, on average is like an hour. They'd record a song in an hour. Some will probably take 2, maybe 3 hours to record a song. Depends on how complex the song is as well. But he would come in here in the studio and he would record like 3 songs in an hour. Do you know what I mean? He would just like go from the beginning straight through. And that's something I'd only see like you see like in the reggae world. That's what the reggae and like bashment DJs would do. And the singers, they'll go straight through the songs. But like over here and like in R&B, grime, we're used to like doing, okay, just do the chorus, then do the verse and that. But he would just do his song all the way through. Do you know what I mean? He was just rapping. And I was like, yo, this guy's interesting. So we've worked on a lot of stuff since then. He was always like, oh, yo, give me a job, man. Let me do some work here, blah, blah, blah. But when he was a bit younger, so I thought, okay, you're not really serious. You just seem like you're a bit hype and that. I kept telling him, oh, yeah, I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. Like, he doesn't even know this part, but he's going to hear it. But I kept fobbing him off, to be fair, because I wanted to see how serious he was. So when he was like, oh, yeah, train me up, man. I want to, engineer and do this and that for other artists. But I'm saying you're trying to be an artist yourself. And what I found, because I'm an artist myself, that engineering for other people and producing overtook that. So I had to put my music on hold. And I was thinking, you don't really want to do that. But he was like, nah, I can do both. So after probably about 6 months of saying, yeah, I'll get back to you. I was like, all right, cool. Sit down. This is what you need to do. So I started to show him, and he's a quick learner. Now, like since then, so like 16, 17, he was doing sessions. Started to give him paid work. I was like, all right, cool. All right, I'm giving you a job. And he turned 18 recently. He's got his own studio keys now. So basically he goes in and does his own sessions. He's got his own little client base. And he's off the road. Like, he literally lives in the studio.
And he's good at it.
He's really good. Like, his second, like, okay, let me not get complete, because I've got 2 engineers. So I can give him I'd give him my music to mix. You know what I mean? And work on. And he records me sometimes. So he's that good. I've got another engineer, big up Reese. But Reese went to uni to Leicester and he came back because of COVID and that. So D ended up doing most of the work. So because I said I need to step back and do other stuff, because Reese wasn't around, there was D. So then D started. So he does a lot more. He does the most sessions now in the studio, even more than me. Reese does occasional sessions. So when I was going to say he's second to me, he's second in the sense of he does the work. Okay, Reese, don't get mad.
But it's interesting to see how you tested him by saying no a few times.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that resonates with me. Like, a lot of times people will get told no. But if you keep asking, sooner or later, I think someone's going to say yes.
Yeah, because I wanted to see, like, because I've worked with so many people, and so many people will be like, yeah, I want to do this. And then you give them an opportunity. And when they're supposed to deliver, they're just, they're not on it. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do this no more. I'm not just going to keep wasting my time and just saying, yeah, come. Because time is precious. Like, for me, time is more valuable than money. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't get that back. Like, you can spend £100 on a pair of trainers, but you can go make it back. Do you know what I mean? But with time, it's gone.
By the sounds of things, you spend most of your time grafting and working away. Is there any time where you're outside the studio, and what do you get up to outside the studio?
Daddy daycare. So I've got 3 kids. So my eldest is just turned 15. The next one down, he's 4. And then my youngest is going to be 2 next week. So 2 boys and then a girl as the last one.
And their music as well?
My son, my biggest son, he's just got into writing his own bars and stuff. So him and his mates would do little tunes. He's actually got a song that they sent me the other day, him and his friends, and he said, oh, can we go studio and do this? So I'm going to get them recording that soon. But yeah, we're going to see. My youngest son, who's 4, he just showed a little interest. Like, when I bring him to the studio, because there's a piano outside the studio, he plays on the piano. And one day he was playing something and I was like, that sounds like somebody that can actually knows what they're doing. So about a week ago, I brought him a little keyboard. So I'm going to let him play on that for a bit and try and give him little basic lessons and stuff and see what happens.
So obviously you just mentioned about keyboard. You can play instruments as well?
Yeah, I play keyboard. but not in the sense of like I'm not like no proper keys man, like like proper like Scott. Do you know who Scott Storch is?
I don't know.
Okay, so you know Dr. Dre, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dr. Dre is the big tunes that you hear in the clubs from Dr. Dre, like the ones with Snoop Dogg and Still Dre, ding 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 ding, and all them stuff, and 50 Cent's Candy Shop and that. Scott Storch is a producer that he was like Dre's keys man. So all of them jing 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 jing. He was doing all the keys and stuff like that. He's proper, like he's sick. Like I'm not on that level. So when it comes to, so I can play stuff, bit more basic. So I'll put down ideas. I can get fancy stuff out. Just takes a bit more time. But then what I would do is I'll put an idea down, and then I use a lot of musicians. So then I would call in. I've got a good friend called Israel. I'd call him into the studio, and I'd pay him. I'd pay him as like a session fee, and I'd be like, all right, cool. This is the vibe. Can you replay this? Because he's a keys guy, so he's really good. So he'll just interpretate what I've done and then take it to a next level. But yeah, on the keyboard, obviously I'm programming drums, keyboard, strings, whatever, different sounds and stuff like that. So I can play, but not at the level where I want to be. So that's something that's my own personal development I'm working on now. Little bit of drums. I wanted to start learning bass as well. Like I can play basic stuff, but yeah, I think instruments are just they sound so much better than actually programmed sound. But you can get instruments that are recorded and sampled off the actual instrument, so they do sound really good. But then nothing beats like a live band.
And obviously, the next question is, can you sing?
Singing now, I say I can, but
you're gonna set yourself up now.
No, I'm not really like with singing now. I use auto-tune in it. Like I have to smooth out my notes. I used to sing when I was young, and then basically I stopped singing, and I thought it was at a point where rapping was the in thing. So I was like, okay, cool, let me put singing down. I started rapping, so then I kind of left my singing alone and then rapping. And then when I got older, I thought, yo, I want to rap and sing. The singing wasn't as good as the rapping. So then it was like, okay, bit of auto-tune here and there. Do you know what I mean? I can get melodies out. Like I write songs for people just because I get melodies very fast, and I get ideas and I'd hum something and then I'd put some lyrics there. But then my performance ain't always the best. So yeah, some people say
probably because you're busy setting everybody else up and you give yourself a bit of neglect.
I'd say that. I just feel like if I did vocal lessons, vocal training and stuff, I think like I could be really good, because when it comes to singing and the feeling and the passion behind it, I've got all of that. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't call myself a singer, but I say I can sing. Do you know what I mean? But I think I've set myself up. But yeah.
Next question is, can you sing something for us?
I could rap something.
Take it away, anything you like.
Okay, I've got a song, and I don't even know how this is gonna come out, so whatever in it. But the actual song is out now. It's on Spotify and Apple Music, and it's called Only Fan. That song, I'll get into that in a bit, but I'll sing a little bit, and it's easy if I sing it. So
tell us about the song before you sing it, like the title, where it came from, what it's about.
Okay.
Bit of background.
So there's a whole story behind that. As you may be aware, okay, I'm going to try and keep it PG-18. There's a website called OnlyFans that's out now, and it started off apparently as just like somewhere where you can get fans and like a celebrity kind of website, but now it's a site where girls go over there, and it's literally, to me, it's like a digital strip club. Basically, you go on the site. Okay, I've been on there for market research purposes. Just want to make a disclaimer. Yeah, because I needed to know what I'm talking about. So basically, like the girls have profiles. It's like Instagram, but then you can follow them, but you have to pay like a subscription. So there might be, like Cardi B's recently just got her own OnlyFans. It's a big thing. There's a few other artists, mainstream artists that got their own. You pay like a subscription. Let's say, for example, $30 a month. And then you get to see everything they have on their page, everything they post. And a lot of them is like, you'll have like explicit stuff on there. So girls will be half naked, girls will be naked, girls will be doing stuff. And then they'll also post extra things. where, see, I feel like I'm promoting their site, but I'm not trying to promote their site. There's extra things on there where you can pay. So they might say, oh, check out this video I've just done with 2 people or something crazy like that. But then you have to pay extra for that. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, cool. How I got to that is, I was on Snapchat one day. Like, I have Snapchat, but most of my social media I use for promotion and my music and my business and stuff. So I was on Snapchat one day, and then every now and again I just add random people. I probably post once every 2 weeks or something on there, if that. But so I added some random people, and somebody messaged me, and they was like trying to sell pictures and stuff. Like, they had like some naked girls on there saying, oh, add me up, sign up to this site. I'd get them all the time, spam, sign up, meet me here, tell me your username, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, block, block, block. One of them was saying, yeah, if you pay $20, you can get this much pictures. If you pay $50, you can get my whole Dropbox where they've got videos, naked things and stuff like that. And I was thinking, yo, this is kind of crazy. But I'm like, so me and D was in the studio and we're laughing and joking, like, is this actually real? And so I was like saying, so then I'm a kind of person that I'd entertain it to see how far they would actually go. So I was like, oh, so how do I pay? And then they was like, oh, you can send me money via Cash App. You know what I mean? So then this person, whoever it was, sent a Cash App link. So I looked at the name of the model, then I looked at the name on the Cash App, and it was different people. So I thought, okay, this is a bit weird. This is like some catfish business. And I'm saying, I'm not spending no money on this. And then, so then basically D was like, yeah, you know what? I actually know people that do this, where guys will actually go onto these websites, these adult sites, pay for stuff, download videos, download pictures, package them all up, and then go online pretending to be the girls and resell them. So imagine like a guy sells, let's say he sells 10 folders in one night. That's $500, for example. And these people are doing it daily. He's like, yeah, my mates used to do that. But then he says, it's one of his friends stopped doing it because men started sending them naked pictures of themselves. So I said, yeah, that's weird. So yeah, so anyways, was bantering on the Snapchat, laughing and joking for a bit. Anyways, and I came off that and I was like, you know what? I want to make a beat. So I made a beat anyways, like just jumped on the computer, started making a beat. And then I was like, oh, you know what? What should I talk about? And then I thought, you know what? This is the most relevant thing right now. So I started making a song about that. And I was thinking, you know what? This person, like if it was an actual girl, they only want me to be a fan. You know what I mean? They only want to make the guys fans of them because they just want the money and stuff. It's not going to go further than that. It's not real. Do you know what I mean? It's all fake virtual reality. So yeah. So then I ended up coming up with a chorus, recorded that. I was like, yo, this is sick. Then I was like, all right, cool. We can leave the studio now because I felt like, all right, I've been productive now. I've made the beat. I've got the chorus. I'll come back tomorrow, finish the song off. But I was like, nah. Let me do my verse. So I did a verse, and then D's there like, yo, this is sick. I want to get on the song. So I was like, yeah, you can get a verse on there as well. So recorded my verse, left the studio. I think the next day went back, did D's verse, and then I started planning the video. Like I've shot a music video for it as well, but it's more like a music movie. But it's still getting edited at the moment. But yeah, only fan. Like it's interesting. Like the song as well. If you listen to the song, you might just think, I'm just talking about the site and that. But if you listen carefully to the lyrics and then watch the video, you'll see there's a whole story behind it. You know what I mean? So yeah. But yeah, I sang on that just because I like to think.
You just get inspired by day-to-day activity, what's going on in the world.
Yeah, definitely. But it's funny though, because from that, some people have even said like, oh, KMD's doing OnlyFans. Did you hear this, that, and the other? I'm like,
Not stirring the pot.
Yeah, like it's not that deep. Like, yeah. So I'm like, but it's good though. The talk is good. Like I've had people like, what are you doing? I saw these video clips. And so some people are questioning me like, we don't know you for this. Like, this is a bit change of character. Like, what's going on here? So I'm saying, nah. When you see the visuals, you'll understand. But at the same time, like I've got a saying in it, like I stay at the streets, but I still walk the pavement. You know what I mean? So I'm around, but I'm not involved. Whereas when you're trying to reach people, you kind of have to meet them where they're at. You know what I mean? And it's just it's like a news report, innit? It's like, this is what's happening in the world today in 2020. Girls are online doing OnlyFans. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Is that the truth in the song?
Yeah. That's what it is. It's just I'm like the media, just speaking what's happening. It's not necessarily saying I'm supporting it. Highlighting it. Yeah. Some people look at you but like, you can't talk about that. You shouldn't talk about that because people look up to you or but do you know what I mean? You can't
taboo subject.
Yeah, you can't hide things from people though, because they're gonna find out anyways. It's like trying to keep kids wrapped up in a bubble and not letting them see any dangers of the world and that, and then when they go out there and they're gonna end up in the dangers, they don't know how to respond. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm not supporting it. I am not sponsored by onlyfans.com. Yeah. And look out for the movie. Yeah, it's better if I call it a movie as well, because some of the things in there, people might see and like, he's doing that. What's going on here? It's not that bad, but to some people, it's going to raise their eyebrows. But it's a movie. I'm an actor, like Denzel Washington. Yes, that's my disclaimer.
So, is there any other songs that have made it big, famous music productions that you've been part of?
I'm trying to think now. So I've done some songs with I had some songs back in the day with Lady Leisha. That got some good radio play. Got good streams and stuff. Some of my tunes have got some good streams as well. And I've like worked on people's songs where I've done like, I'm like the mixer master engineer. So like, for example, now, big up Tanner. Tanner's got a song called Ride and Clutch that came out a couple months ago now. He did a remix. And he's got H on there. He's got Millions, Unknown T, JB Schofield. Do you know any of these names?
I've heard of H.
Yeah, everyone knows H. But yeah, so he's got them on the remix. So they done a Big Boy video and that. But then I was the guy that was mixing it and mastering it all. Basically, like I had everyone's vocals, all the beats separate, and I had to mix it down and polish it all up and then send it back out. Do you know what I mean?
You know, when you work with artists, is it difficult?
It depends. Some artists, oh my gosh. So someone's popped in my head and then that person is stress. Like, a lot of artists are just cool. They come in, they know what they want to do, they get it done. I've worked with singers where I feel like somebody hasn't told them that they're not good. Do you know what I mean? I feel like everybody's just gassed them up, or they actually believe they're good. And I'm like, I don't get it. Like, I would actually know. Do you know what I mean? But then there's a term called tone deaf where you just can't hit no tones. Like, you can't hit the notes. And there's some singers that will come in and they'll sing and I'll be like, I've worked out a way to say to them, okay, cool. I think you should do vocal training. But then I say it in a way where it's kind of a diplomatic, it doesn't sound hurtful. It sounds more like, yeah, you should do vocal training, because even like Beyonce does vocal training. Alicia Keys does vocal training. Like Whitney Houston used to do vocal training. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously you've got to nurture your voice, get it to a level and keep it there. Do you know what I mean? So I'll tell them, yeah, you should do vocal coaching, because then, but I will tell them at the same time, I'm not a Simon Cowell with it, but I'll be like, you know what, you're a bit off. Like the notes are not hitting right and stuff like that. So I feel like to get the best performance, you need to work on your vocals and stuff like that. And if you can't take it, then give up in it. Like I'm not saying, oh, you're rubbish or whatever. I'm just saying, you might have a good tone, like a good sound, but you're not able to get your notes in the right places. But yeah.
What are the difficulties that you've had turning up late?
Okay. So let me go back to the artist. I almost said that person's name.
I don't think we should name anyone.
I would have said, edit that out, please. But basically, there's some artists. Okay, and they probably know who they are, anyways. There's a few artists, male and female, that are very, very, very fussy, like very particular, to the point where. Okay, so let me give you an example. They will do something, and I'd give them advice, and I'd be like, okay, don't do it like that, do it like this. And they're like, no, it has to be this way. This is how it does. And I'd be like, yeah, but it doesn't sound that good though. Like, this way sounds better. Because that's what I do as producer. Do you know what I mean? I actually give them advice. And they'll do it their way, go away. And they'll come back and they want to change it. And then do it the way I told them to do it. And I'd be like, But it's because everybody's telling them, oh, no, you should do this, you should do like this, you should do like this. Now they want to listen to me. Do you know what I mean? But I'm like, okay, cool. So you've got them ones, and then you've got another set of artists that they'll do something, then they'll want to change it. They'll literally do something over and over and over and over and over, same thing over again, and it sounds the same. And then they're fussy, and then they'll be like, no, I don't like it. I need this perfect. And then they'll try and change it. And then they'll go away, and you can do stuff like this. You can play it to them, and they'll like, yeah. No, I don't like that one. Play the other one. You play the same one, and they'll be like, oh yeah, that sounds better. I haven't done nothing though. Do you know what I mean? Them people are so
placebo effect.
Yeah, so indecisive, and it's just it's like sometimes certain names come up on my phone. I'm like, I'm not doing that session. I'll be like, D, do you want to do that session? Do you know what I mean? He's like, that. Like, that's what it is though.
So, your studio now, is it open to anyone? How do people come and use the studio, get in touch with you?
Yeah,
who would you work with? Who wouldn't you work with?
To be fair, I work with anybody. As long as they're sensible people. Do you know what I mean? Like, when we first opened the studio, it was a thing where we didn't want to. So this was with my old business partner. We set up the studio together. But we didn't want to work with anybody then. It was more like, all right, cool. We don't want to work with all the kids that are doing grime and stuff. Not in the sense of we don't want to work with the kids. It's just the ones that are just under negative stuff, under shoot, kill, stab, murder kind of vibe. Like, we don't want to be that kind of studio. We just want to work with proper professional projects. You know what I mean? So someone that knows, okay, cool, I'm coming in, I want to record an EP, which is like 4 to 6 songs. And they're gonna properly like put their stuff out, do videos, market their music and stuff like that. We'd want to work with those kind of people. We don't want to just work with people just because they can rap or sing. Do you know what I mean? Like, and especially like the negative stuff, because I used to work in the youth club and the youth centers doing all of that. It's like, I want to hear positive stuff for a change. It doesn't have to be like happy music. It can be like, you could talk about a situation, but I don't want to hear the selling drugs, the stabbing, the shooting, the killing, because that's all negative. Do you know what I mean? That's just like negative energy, and I just want good energy and good vibes around me. So that's like, you'd get it though. People would turn up, but you're not going to turn them away. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, like I had some young guys, like 14-year-olds recording songs about, trapping, 10 toes on the road and this, that, and the other. I said, does your mum listen to your music? Then all his friends laughed at him. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, why are you saying this stuff? Oh, because it sounds cool. But this is not you. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to do this. But with the media, young people feel like they have to do certain things and put a certain image on. But I'm saying, you know what? The problem with that is you're going to get to a situation where people are going to test you and see if you're really about what you're saying in the songs. Do you know what I mean? You're putting yourself in trouble. Do you know what I mean? So I do stuff like that. I would talk to them. I won't just record it and let them go, or not record them. I record it, but then I talk about their song with them. I'm like, oh, why have you said that in there? Why have you done that? Do you know what I mean? Especially like the youngsters, the older ones now that are like 20 odd upwards. Do you know what I mean? They more or less know what they're doing and why they're doing it. I still talk to them and reason with them. But then the youngsters now, I'm like, come on, you can rap. So why don't you rap about this? Do you know what I mean? Or rap about something else. Like, what are you trying to do? Where are you trying to go with it? If you're trying to be successful and make money, then you've got the problem where drill is like a very big thing now. Do you know what I mean? And they're not talking nothing positive. Do you know what I mean? So it's just trying to bring back the alternative. I want people to be like, yo, I can do drill, but I can do it a bit different. So like my song, the OnlyFans song, it's on a drill beat, but it's more singing and it's a different kind of subject. So it's like an alternative, but it's still got the drill vibe to it. So I want people to be, it's confidence. We just need to have confidence in ourselves to be like, okay, I don't need to follow the crowd. I can do what I like to do, or I can do something different and still, feel good about it.
You think that the big stars are role models? Because if you look at most of the big stars, they'll have some gang business or
so a lot of the big guys, they're definitely role models if they want to be or not, like, because the audience looks up to them. Do you know what I mean? There's some people that just know, okay, this is just music, innit? But then you've got the young influential minds that will be looking and be like, all right, you know what? He's got a Rolex on. He's got like 3 chains around his neck. He's got, brand new Mercedes. He's got 10 girls around him, bottles of champagne and stuff. Like, I want to live that life. In his song, he's talking about selling drugs and stuff, and he's got this from that. Okay, cool. This is what I need to do that. Do you know what I mean? That's how they're looking at it. So when it comes to like, an opportunity comes up for them to sell some drugs or something like that, they'll take it because they want that lifestyle that they're seeing that's being pushed in their face every day. You know what I mean? So the role models that need to be responsible. A lot of them will be like, oh, it's just music, but you're not really portraying that to your audience. You know what I mean? You might have an interview somewhere where you say, oh, nah, it's just music and blah, blah, blah. But we don't see that. You know what I mean? That might be something that you did over there, or, you know what I mean? That it's not on the media channels every day. It's not being pushed like that. And there's a lot of issues that I feel like a lot of role models are responsible to be talking about and, to try and help. You know what I mean? But they don't care because it's going to affect their pocket.
So do you think that if they took a different approach, they'd be as popular or as famous?
You know, it is. They can be. And it just takes a certain mindset to be like, all right, cool. I've got all these hundreds of thousands of followers. I've got all this money from music and stuff. I'm going to be like, I'm going to switch the game and I'm going to do something constructive. I think the fear of not getting the same response is what stops them. But at the same time, a lot of the artists, it's their mindset as well. In their mind, they're like, this is cool, this is okay to do. Do you know what I mean? And they love the gas and the fame and everything. Do you know what I mean? They're just feeding themselves and their egos are keeping them in that same place. So that's the problem. Some people know better, but they're doing it because their label wants them to do that. Okay, don't do that song. Do this first. Do this. This is what you need to push out. This is big at the moment. Yeah, a lot of the labels are to blame because they're just selling death. Like a lot of the songs, drill, hip hop stuff is that. It doesn't have to be like that, because if 10 of the biggest artists just said, all right, cool, we're not doing no negative music no more. It doesn't have to be la la la, we're singing, walking through the forest or something. But, just songs about, life, love songs, partying, different subjects, you know what I mean? Just about, I don't know, working or whatever it may be, just not something negative to do. Drugs, selling drugs, killing people. If they did that now and said, all right, cool, let's change it. And you see, oh, this artist has changed. Skepta's doing this, Storms is doing that, Chip's doing that, Wiley's doing this, Diz is doing this. Do you know what I mean? It would be like, wow, okay. So then what you'd have now is that their audience, because they already follow them, would be like, something to think about now. Like, if they can switch and change, then maybe that's something that I can do as well. If the same guys, like, for example, D-Block Europe, you'll see them with like 2 watches on their wrists and bare ice and stuff like that. If they now said, oh, you know what? There's another way to make this money. Yeah, do this and you can get, if there was an example, do you know what I mean? The positive role models are hidden. Do you know what I mean? We can't see them. They're not celebrated enough. They're not pushed out there like, yo, you can go to college or uni, get your degree and come out and have a job and you can make £1 million. You could be a millionaire. You can live in Little Aston and drive your big Rolls Royce and all of that. But we don't see that. It's not glamorized. It's not pushed in front of the media. It's drug dealer. You know what I mean? Get money from trapping. So if they switched and says, boom, you can do it legally, you can do it this way, then the youngsters would be like, yo, okay, cool. Because I didn't really want to be bad, but I just wanted to get that money. You know what I mean? I want to get some girls. I want to get this. I want to get some new trainers. And then you've got the other ones now that was never a fan of that lifestyle. They just like the music. That will be even more like, yeah, this is something for us now, because they've always wanted to do it the legit way, but they've got no role models to look at and be like, all right, cool. How do I get to that kind of level? You know what I mean? So,
I suppose it brings a bigger audience as well.
Yeah, definitely. Because then you get both sides. You know what I mean? And then that can be celebrated everywhere.
On this podcast, we have the guests to wrap up.
Yeah.
But because you haven't sang yet, I'm expecting a bit of singing in the wrapping up. So give your shout outs, give your contact details and a positive message that you want to end on.
Okay, so big up everybody. There's too much names to mention. Big up all my family, all my friends, anybody that I work with, people that I speak to regularly, whoever's contacted me today or when you're seeing this, if you spoke to me, big up yourself. Big up everybody that's trying to do something positive, constructive in life. Just keep going, keep pushing. It's going to get hard. It's never going to be easy. Just be determined though. Like, don't give up. Like, take D as an example. You know, he kept asking me to get into the studio. He wants to work. And I kept on purpose telling him no, just because I wanted to see if he could do it and if he was that serious. When people see that you're serious, they'll help you, but you've got to start by yourself. Get that self-motivation going. You know what I mean? Like, find the motivation. That's something I want to say to people. Like, find your motivation. Whatever it is, find it, because that will keep you going when nobody else is there to push you. That motivation will keep you going. And one of my taglines is, dreams can take you anywhere. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter where in the world, it can take you there. Just dream and put the work into action.